This is a free call from
Esaun.
an incarcerated individual at Illinois DOC East Moline Corrections Center. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. To accept this free call, press 1. To refuse this free call, press.
Be aware, any attempt to add a third party to any call from Illinois DOC will result in inmate disciplinary action, and the involved end user's phone number will be globally blocked from future calls from all Illinois DOC facilities.
My man Esaun, KSOG, Pete Keller. How you feeling, bro?
You know about that. What's up, man?
Everything is good, man. I know a couple of times you had called me. I wasn't in a position to do what, do what we were talking about.
No,
but
I understand, like, man, just believe that, man. I already know you doing a lot of stuff.
Now look,
Radio show and all that, yeah, I know you can't do it.
Absolutely, but look, I'm ready to do what we talked about doing now. So let me ask you a few questions real quick. So, you and I go back, and if you could talk a little bit louder, but you and I go back, and
you got it set up right now?
Yeah, right now. We doing it right now.
Okay, cool. All right, go ahead. I got you.
I can always edit, you know what I'm saying? But let's talk about it, man. So, Pete Keller, KSOG, Esaun, we know that whole journey was a journey, of growth, of maturity, and things that we came from. Let's talk about that name change, man. Let's talk about your roots in hip-hop, your roots in spoken word, and let's talk about that maturity and that metamorphosis and that changes from KSOG to Esaun.
Well, basically, as it's the fifth bit. And, I was want to bring a lot of hip-hop to Chicago, be Jelly Dale, Pink House, a lot of different states, probably KKC, WCRX, Magic Maurice, and so these were the days that, there was a lot going on. We had to battle with the stations, because, that's when Farley was, really trying to, the Hot Mix 5 was really doing their thing. And, it was a house city. Chicago always been a house city. So bringing hip-hop here was really hard, because, we couldn't even dance off it, because, the house is 120 RPMs. And when you got, the rap game, we listened to rap, that was cool to us. But we was just gangsters. It wasn't like, we didn't really dance off it. So when rap came on, that would be our time to go check on the coach, back to the females, it was just different. So, we battled with the stations, Disco Dave had a little TV show, back then, and we helped put a lot of stuff together. WNUR was the first station to really bring, hip-hop to Chicago, then following with HBK, Chuck Chill Out, and JP, and just everybody that was really instrumental.
Chili Q. That's right, yeah, Chili Q. So look, you mentioned Pink House. I want to say rest in peace to the legend, WKKC. He gave a format for a lot of us to go on that station, man, along with AWHPK. So what year, let's chronicle some things. What year are we talking about with these things and you doing all these great things?
So that would be between 82 to 84. And then by 85 is when hip-hop really started pushing mainstream here in Chicago. Had like OC Ulan, a lot of old school rappers that was really trying to, get their name out. It was just that a lot of people had to leave the city and go on the industry as far as New Jersey, New York, the Bronx. People had to leave.
LA, that's right.
Before the NWAs, right before really things started hitting on the West Coast.
That's right.
And then when they did, it was like the Ice-T's, Right
now, I know that Chicago has, on different sides of town, you can have a whole movement on the west side and it'd be different from the movement that was going on the south side. So tell me, like, what side of town that you guys were establishing these things and doing all these power moves?
Well, back and forth. Back then, because you also had a lot of hip-hop crews, too, as far as on the graffiti side, the tagging side, it was, all city. So they were riding trains. See, back then, it was the green line, it was pretty much like what the red line is now. And, people would go back and forth underground. Upski was Hey Inky, Heckle and Jekyll, CTA, ABC, these were all the original graffiti crews. And the west side had they click, and the south side, they did the same thing with the hip hop movement. So when people started, going all city, that's when the love started really spreading, But you still have rappers that was still, claiming, I'm from the west side, I'm from the south side, I'm from the grade, so you know, we had to really put a name out there, you know what I'm saying, and get it going. We had War, GGC, Create, Long RIP Create, you know, FIC was out, you know, that was my crew, FIC First in Control. Then it switched to Folks and Cabrini and Fresh Image Crew, you know what I'm saying? It was still our FIC though.
Now, it's crazy that you say that because, see, we were, you know, from Inglewood on the south side. So with us, it was Crew of Destruction, which became Legion of Doom. And then you had the MOC rappers, Top Dog and Double C. Then you had Big Red Ski. You had JMD, who's now Mr. Club Banger. DA Smart, Kingdom Rock, you know, Shy Rock Nation. We had all that stuff going on.
Yeah, Shy Rock Nation's been around for a minute, my boy DA Smart.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
and
right.
You guys are doing your thing too.
Absolutely. So look, then we go from hip hop, and then, you know, this thing called spoken word started to get popular and come into play. Now, of course, now we're MCs and we're lyricists already, so it wasn't a hard transition for us to go from hip hop to spoken word, but there was a downtime for you in between hip hop and spoken word, because when you came home, there was a, you know, explosion of the spoken word scene. So let's just talk about that. Coming home, spoken word scene is up and running. You jump right in, and it's not a hard transition because you're already a lyricist and an MC.
Exactly. So when I came home from the penitentiary, the first thing that I did is
and give me some years, and give me some years up in there too, so people can follow the journey.
Okay, yeah. So Sacred Answers in 92, you know, we really started making some noise. I had come out with my my environment rap video, and I got locked up during the end of that of 92, and I came home in 95, the beginning of 95, and resurrected Voice of Cabrini newspaper, took my money, got it going, and at that point, Malik Yusuf was really hot at that moment. He was doing his thing. He was really young. You know, he was like, man, I got some stuff. You know, I really want you to get into. It's poetry, spoken word. You rap, blah, blah, blah. We can really kick it. So he got a column in my newspaper and started spitting poetry, right? So I was like, okay, cool. This is right after the Love Jones, you know what I'm saying, and him, you know, helping Lorenz Tate. And I was intrigued at that. And so I said, okay, cool. So, you know, when he started jumping on board, I really started getting into it. And that's when I started getting all the spots, you know what I'm saying? That's when we started getting like Red Dog and on Milwaukee. Then I got, on 79th, the Glass House, and then I got Xavier's on 47. So there was something every night, the spoken word I was trying to host. And you was at one of the infamous spots where I got all the spoken word artists in one spot at one time.
And I think that was on West. Well, I think that was on Western somewhere, right? Somewhere in the 50s or 40s.
Yep, on Western.
Yeah.
47 and Western.
Yes, sir. I remember that.
You actually was a part of history. You was there. You ripped the mic. You did your thing. It was awesome.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. And again, for those who are watching and listening, this is your boy Black Ice. We're listening to an interview live from my brother. And if it's okay, you know, to say, you know, where the call is coming from, that's on you. I'm gonna let you.
Live from the penitentiary.
That's right, live from the penitentiary.
Don't forget that part, yeah.
Right. So my boy, K-So-G, aka Esaun. We wanted to do this to let people know like what was going on with my brother. But look, what I love about you, man, is because when you and I became connected, we had a similar passion outside of music, and that was doing something for the community. So you started creating Ulan, your organization Ulan. Tell everybody what Ulan means, when it was created. Although you have been doing things long before it was created, tell them about Ulan, when it was created, and like what some of the things you guys do.
Yeah, it's funny because, you know, Ulan was prophetic. Ulan actually started in the early 80s as a graffiti crew. And Ulan is an acronym for United Legion One Nation that I had started, which was a graffiti crew, which was all city. We brought the, and it's funny we mentioned it earlier, we brought the south side, the west side, and the north side together under. So we had all these different crews under Ulan. And then, you know, I was, you know, just to be honest and put it out there, you know, I was banging and doing what I do and got into the game, you know, the drug game. So I pretty much, you know what I'm saying, put that on the back burner for a minute, but I still had love for, you know, the creative side of things. And, you know, I was out there doing, you know, big things with, you know, the south side and a lot of, you know, big names. And when I came home, I was going to the joint. I can't hear you.
No, go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Yeah, so, you know, when I came home from the joint, it was like pretty much trying to make sure that, you know, everybody was legit on at least one accord of, doing something that was a movement. And so Ulan came back about as far as something that we could do positive for the hood. And so that's when I started doing that, and that's when I wrote my first book. That's when Cross the Bridge came out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I got one of your books on my shelf to this day, brother.
Exactly.
Absolutely, man. So we go from hip-hop to imprisonment to coming home, getting into spoken word, to imprisonment, to coming back home. So tell people, because people want to know, why did he keep going back? What was going on? What was he into that caused him to be going back? Even with this particular time where you're calling me from the penitentiary, people are going to want to know, what was that about?
I'm basically in a driving infraction. This an old case came up just driving. I actually turned my life around in 2009 and I got the joint in 2011. So I haven't been to the penitentiary. I've resurrected Ulan. I have a resource center as well as a satellite office. So things are going real well. We're helping the community. I actually turned myself in so that I can take care of this right now. So I'll be coming home next month, in June. And, everybody's out there definitely, willing to network with me and make it happen. Then you can reach out at 312-834-8020. We can get you out there, if you need any type of appointment. I'm having my big citywide job fair that we're known for on June 29th, which is a Saturday, the last Saturday of the month. So feel free, all your listeners right now, anybody want to come out, this is for ex-felons, so anybody that wants to bring your resume out, we are hiring on the spot. June 29th at 7401 South Cottage Grove. All right, June 29th, 7401 South Cottage Grove. It's going to be from 9 o'clock to noon. The freshmen will be there. The news and media will be there. So feel free to come on out. Bring your bio now. If you want a resume before then, you can call 312-834-8020. And feel free, have somebody hook it up. It's free.
Okay, get that number.
2024 resume.
Get that number again. 312.
834-8020. 312-834-8020.
8020. All right, cool. So listen, talking about your Ulan offices, before you went in this time, you were able to be blessed to open up your own facility on 74th and Cottage Grove.
Yes,
Cottage Grove, yes.
Grove Avenue.
And I've been there. For those who are listening, tuning in, that brother's doing some big things. But listen, man, we can talk about everything. We can talk about the hip-hop. We can talk about the spoken word. We could talk about the community things. But we got to talk about your queen. Because even when you're in there now, the queen is holding you down, man. Talk about that, bro.
Well, she's definitely the queen. Is definitely going to be the queen and carry on, the legacy, while I've been, going through whatever, I'm still able to reach out and connect with her to, help, steer, the whole corporation / movement. And she's been a go-getter. She's been on it, doing what she has to do, keep things, in motion, and keeping everything in order. So much love to the queen because, without her, there really is no me and vice versa. So I got to get the queen love, you feel me?
Absolutely, bro. Look, man, what do you want to say to the people who are watching this and listening to this and your journey and your story? Here it is. You're giving a live interview from the penitentiary.
Recall from
Esaun.
an incarcerated individual at Illinois DOC East Moline Correction Center. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. To accept this free call, press 1. To refuse this free call, press 2. If you would
Be aware, any attempt to add a third party to any call from Illinois DOC will result in inmate disciplinary action, and the involved end user's phone number will be globally blocked from future calls from all Illinois DOC facilities.
thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Hey, what's up, big?
Esaun.
Man, just reaching out to you, wanted to kind of finalize everything. Just, reaching back out, showing you some, much love really for yesterday.
Absolutely. We still rolling now.
Okay.
Yeah, we still rolling now. So if there's anything that we didn't cover that we want to cover on this one, then we rolling.
Okay.
So was it anything that you wanted to talk about that we didn't get a chance to talk about?
Probably we didn't cover any of the activism stuff.
All right, good. So let's
talk about the hip hop. We talked about some other things. We didn't really cover the activism.
All right, so let's get into that. So let me go ahead and set it up. So Esaun, so this activism piece, we're going to talk about that because, brothers like T.O. Hardeman, Ceasefire, Andrew Holmes, and a lot of the brothers, as I look through your Facebook page and your social media page, I've been going through all your photos and picking some of the best ones out to share slides on this video feed. But talk to me about how you got into the activist community. Now, there's a difference between you doing activism work yourself, but you've actually gotten to the activism community. You've dealt with politicians, you've dealt with other activists. So talk to that a little bit about how that came to be about, how you met some of these other influential activists, and how you became a part of the activist community.
Yeah, absolutely. When we were talking, and you were mentioning just a minute ago about, and I was thinking about coming home and getting a newspaper resurrected and dealing with like Malik Yousef and stuff like that. The newspaper Voices of Cabrini actually opened doors for me to rub elbows with a lot of political officials. And so at that moment, I started realizing that probably was my calling. Ulan, which actually started off, like we were just saying, as an acronym for United Legion One Nation, which was more of a movement back in the day, kind of resurfaced mind-wise. I said, you know what, this is actually needed right now. And as I brought it, as I kind of brought it forth to fruition, then I use it politically. And when I use it politically, I said, you know what, this is the organization that needs to be out now, the 2020s, So I restarted in 2000, and I kept it going and just made it more of a base. It started in Cabrini, and it just went from there.
Absolutely. So tell me about some of the activists, especially the Chicago activists that you've met, and what projects you have worked on with them.
Oh man, it's too many, you know what I'm saying? From Eric, Theo, you name it, from Andrew to, a lot of times, we have to be careful, like when we say these names, only because, a lot of these activists are really under fire at certain times because, the powers that be really don't like activists, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of activists change their names to advocates or life supporters or, these other type of titles because when you become an activist, it's almost like you're saying you're anti-machine, you're anti-this, you're anti-that. And so a lot of people start attacking you, whether it be underground people, whether it be people in the news and media, whether it be, people that just want their clout. And I also have to say this, and you know this very well, Blaq, is that a lot of activists, not even the ones that I just mentioned, but a lot of activists that are out there are really not, Black death is a hustle. Let's keep it real. And so people are, like say for instance, if I'm doing a march, I'm doing something, people ask me if I invite them, or is the news and press going to be there? And they won't want to come if they're not going to be there. So that lets me know off top who's really in this and what you're in it for. Are you in it for the clout, or are you in it because you really care about society and about the brothers and sisters on the overall level for the city? So, we got to start, defining and setting a lot of these brothers and sisters out there because a lot of people are not for us that we think are for us.
Absolutely, and there are plants as well. There are people that are planted.
A lot of plants too, I found out.
Yeah.
I think another thing that's always set us, Ulan, aside, and you guys see the point, is that we don't, I've never been in bed with any different type of party. Like, no one can say that, he's a Democrat that only comes out for this movement, or he's a Republican that comes out for this movement, or he's working for the mayor, he's doing this, for the police, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many people that are in a position right now that are in bed with these politicians, with this law enforcement, whatever. You got to be able to work for all of them, you know what I'm saying, willingly, not because you have to, because they're paying you. And so that's the difference between Ulan and a lot of these other organizations. We are self-motivated. We don't owe anybody anything. We are our own will, and we get to set our own boundaries and limitations because we are thorough, and we're for the streets and all the way up. You know what I'm saying? We just don't, recognize the people with the money. We actually work for the underdog, and this is what's made us successful.
Got it. So as an activist, what were some of the greatest accomplishments that you've had in the work that you've done on behalf of the people?
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, it just keeps going. Like, I don't even like to give him my own accolades. And here we go again with this lady. We're a live interview when you're from the penitentiary and this lady comes on and you got a minute left. But I'll just say, we walked and we marched around when the Kwame McDonald got shot with 16 shots in the cover-up. We brought that out there, was carrying the coffin, boy Tio. I have this, TV show on Chicago Access Network, which is cable channel 21, and we've been giving out jobs for years now.
But man, what do you want to say to the young people who are listening and to those who are listening? What advice?
So, this time I've actually been blessed by the Holy Spirit to write a new book dealing with the penitentiary and with the kingdom. And so we're going to be getting ready to release that soon. And my queen, of course, is going to be doing illustrations. So, it don't never stop. So one thing I can tell you and to my viewers, and especially my young listeners out there, the penitentiary is real. This ain't nothing to play with. You're getting the first live, I guess you could say, interview that I've done since I've been. This is real live, y'all. This ain't nothing to play with. I'm down in East Moline, Correctional Center, and this is the real deal with my boy Blaq Ice. And the poet movement, I just want you to know this is not no candy. So this is real life, you know what I'm saying? And this is nothing to play with. You don't want to come here, this ain't where it's at. And one of my first pieces that was one of my signature pieces, almost was prophetic. Because what people don't know is I actually lost my mother this day. And I'm going to tell you to the most horrendous thing that ever happened to somebody while, being incarcerated because you can't even be there for the funeral. So this ain't where it's at. I'm telling my young viewers, if you're about, ready to get into the game and you're doing something, have second thoughts, because this ain't where it's at. You can't just get up and do anything you want. You can't go nowhere. You have to depend on other people to handle your business. And just being locked down is isolation. I never want any of my young brothers and sisters to feel ever. Isolation away from people is the worst thing ever. And to be grouped around other people that you don't want to be around is the worst thing ever. So the piece that I did was prophetic because it said this, and it was really a mirror of myself. And the last stanza of my piece went just like this. It said, "But me, myself, I saw one man's eyes I'll never forget. He got off that phone from calling home, and his look was true regret. For he had lost the priceless cost of replacement there is no other. For he had lost the source of life. For he had lost his mother. And I was close to him, and I hurt for him, and I cried for him, and I searched for him, but I never found him again. No, not him. He was going in that place where the bars become your soul, where the winds vent frustration, where your spirit dies slow, where you're tired that you're not, but your mind is all you got, but your focus gets weak because your face seems to rot. So I laid in my cell, looking up at that ceiling, and that feeling of no healing was considering my willing to live. I swear it is a was until I woke. And man, I woke, Blaq Ice. I stood up, sat up, looked up, then I broke down to my knees, clasped my hands, asked for strength, said, Lord, this be me. I'm not trying to get shamed. I'm not trying to go out like some mark old fool. So pull me, guide me, show me what to do, and he did. And I got rid of the heat I was holding. I finally beat my case and got out, but to this day, I'm still unfolded, being locked in, being locked down, being locked out, being locked up, being boxed in, being shot down, being knocked out, being socked up, being cold when it was heat, being hotter than hot when it was cold. I was a number, giving a mug shot, trading thought. I was sold. Brains in different shades. Muscles all swole, tattoo, teardrops, hair nets, and afros, gangs and card games, couple casino, squares of cosmetics was the merch that we throw. And that's that real piece.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it right here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an exclusive video and an exclusive interview with the king, y'all. One of the legends in the Chicago hip-hop and spoken word community, my man Pete Keller, a.k.a. Queso G, a.k.a. man, oh my God.
Chicago activist.
Esaun, Chicago activist.
Just showing you this real, because the lady just said 1 minute. So the phone for the cut, but I want you to know, Blaq Ice, I love you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. It's because of people like you and me that make the city go round, because we care and we're directed only for the one and only that's God. And I love you, bro. Straight up.
Love you too, King.